like to call to order the Board of Education meeting for Monday, March 18th at 7 p.m. Please rise for Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Charles Busuttil.
Present.
Heidi Campbell.
Here.
Ray Pribiloff.
Here.
Janice Pascal. Here. Sharon Stiltner here. Phil Clark.
Here.
Heather Neal Roberts.
Here.
Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Okay. Recognitions and presentations?
Very, very fortunate today to have a fine group of students here, and the Care Bag movement, if you've been on this board or if you've been part of this school, pretty much everybody understands the importance of that project. Right now in its 8th year, is that correct? 8th year. Can remember back when Ian Sass presented to the board and how impressive I thought that whole process was then. And then last year I actually had an opportunity to get over and see what happens on the day of the sew-a-thon. And believe me, if you haven't been by there and you got an opportunity to get over there, pop in and see it. It is like, it will blow your mind. I mean, the amount of people, the amount of work that gets done that day, the way kids interact with each other and with people that come and visit, it is truly something to see. And I don't want to get too much and steal the thunder of these people that came to present today, but certainly want to turn it over today. Calvin Meadows is going to be presenting to us a little bit, and he's got the board with him here, and Jan Evans is here as well to help him through that. So I'll turn it over to you folks and go right ahead.
Hello everybody, thank you so much for the opportunity for me to speak here. I am Noah Borshnak, I am the president of the Care Bag Movement, and this is the rest of my committee. This is Calvin Meadows right here, he's the vice president. Tiffany Treppa, the director of communications, sorry, it's been a long day, and Isabella, our secretary. So why are we here? What is the Care Bag? The Care Bag Movement is a nonprofit organization that hopes to help out the foster care system as much as possible. Obviously, you know, that Alkek has a very large poverty, like overall, right, currently, and we're just hoping to aid as much as possible. And while we're working with many things, have many projects and ideas in mind for the future, our primary goal is to help people who, or specifically children who are evicted from the households and have to go into this foster care system. There's some horrible traumatic experience. We hope to offer them these care bags, which are full with everything that are necessary and anything that is needed or to comfort these people. So that is in general what the Care Bag Movement is about. But in reality, it's so much more than that. Personally, I feel like it's helped me more than any of these other kids are getting from it, just because of how much you learn from it, how you learn to care for others, the responsibility you gain, and just learning to work together in order to accomplish this big goal. And this is just something that I think we need more of in kids, which is why I want to bring it to the student body. I want to bring this to attention to so many people because I truly believe in what it can do. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity for us to speak with you, and now I would like to present Calvin Meadows to show you our presentation. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Again, I'd like to say thank you for allowing us to be here and have this opportunity to speak to you guys. To begin, I'm just going to introduce myself. I'm Calvin Meadows. I'm 16 years old. I'm a junior at Algonac High School. I am also involved in a couple other school groups. I'm the vice president of SAD, the Public Relations of Student Council, and a member of NHS. And being in the Care Bag Movement has just truly inspired me to be able to give back to the community as we tour facilities such as the Department of Health and Human Services and Kids in Distress Services in Port Huron. You see the need, and you just see that you have this huge need of children in our community, in our counties, that need the help. And so being able to have this opportunity to help them, yeah, I really appreciate being able to be part of part of this group. So again, who are we? And we are just a nonprofit organization, and so we take our donations through grants within our community. And we consist of mostly high school students and our respectable adult advisors such as Jan and Sue, who help keep the group going and run it a little more smoothly and business effectively. And our mission is to ease the transition of children as they enter their foster care system, so it's less traumatic, in the St. Clair and Sanilac counties. We are partnered with the St. Clair and Sanilac County Department of Health and Human Services, as well as Kids in Distress Services, our first responders, and as well as any other local organization that has a need. So just an intro of all of us. I already introduced myself, and then Bella Wallace, who will be speaking later on. She is a 16-year-old junior as well. Tiffany Chepra, who is our public relations, and she's 17 years old. And you've all met Noah Brashnik, who is our president, 17 as well. So the reason why this message is very important to our community is that just in Michigan alone, there are over 14,000 foster children and in the care system right now, and that is just such a huge number that I would like to be able to, as a group, we be able to provide these care bags to all of them as they have to go through this transition, and let them know that there are people out there who are caring for them. And so when these kids are removed from their homes, it's kind of abrupt and unexpected, and they obviously are kind of unaware that it's going to be happening, so they can't just pack all their everyday items and basic necessities they need. So what these care bags do is they provide them with what we have. And so with the care bags, we fill them with basic necessities along with comfort items such as blankets and a little toys and things like that for the younger kids, onesies, diapers, just the basic necessities you need in life to be able to get by. So to begin, before the care bag movement, a lot of their items were grabbed in just trash bags if they were even able to grab the items that they needed. And it really wasn't, it kind of is a little traumatic for a child to go through and experience something like that, and just to have your belongings thrown into a trash bag. So we created the care bag, and it's drawstring bags that we are hand sewn and created, and we fill them with all of the necessities they need, up until newborn to 18-year-old. And these are just some of the data of the number of items that we've collected. We host 2 events. We have a fall collection day that we do it on Make a Difference Day. And in 2017, you can see we collected around 2,300 items. 2018, we jumped to 3,010. And I'm predicting that we'll collect around 3,400 for our 2019 collection day. And our spring sew-a-thon in 2017, we collected 3,892 items. In 2018, we collected 4,006. And I'm predicting around 4,150 that we will be collecting in our spring sew-a-thon. So I just want to say thank you again for allowing us to have this time to be able to speak, and all other members within our community who are here today and listen to this presentation. And I'm just asking that we can receive continued support from our school board and all our members in our district to help keep this group going for many years. One of our big missions is we also want to just inspire many kids from the generations to come within our community to see our group and lead through example of giving back to our community and shaping the young minds of our future. And once again, I just want to say thank you, and I'd like to invite all of you guys to our 8th annual sew-a-thon that we have on April 12th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Algonac Lions Neighborhood Center. And next will be speaking is Isabella Wallace. Tiffany Chepra.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Trubla. I'm the Communications Director for the Care Bag Movement. And as a Communications Director, I talk to kids in distress, I talk to schools, I help organize events such as the sew-a-thon, I help organize collection days, and I help whatever my president, vice president need, and much more. Care Bag actually impacted me a lot. It impacted me in showing me that community is everything. Community as a whole can impact many people, such as children, and going into foster care. It impacted me by showing that just by doing something small can make a huge difference. This Care Bag movement was started as a small little group created to help foster care students, and now it's this big community that's gone from Novi all the way to Santa Ana County. It's helping many, over 300 foster care people, going to first responders. It's very, very impactful for our community. I wanted to talk about the sew-a-thon. And we all, again, said we invited you, of course. And our 8th annual sew-a-thon is April 12th at the Algonac Lions Club from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., like Calvin said. And the sew-a-thon has become a huge community event. I mean, a huge community event. Actually, saying it again, people come from all the way from Novi and St. Clair and Santa Ana County to come enjoy the event and come work together to create the Care Bags for students and children going into foster care. Because many, like everyone else, like in our school care, we do have kids who are going into foster care in our Algonac district. And it impacts me to help my peers and help people who are younger than me go and help through the transition. What else we got? And I was making sure I got all my notes in check. And so I wanted to thank the Algonac Lions Club for letting the kids in distress put a drop box in their Algonac Lions Club hall, which is awesome. I mean, that's one of the things we were trying to do. We were trying to get it at the high school, but I'm so thankful that Algonac Lions Club has allowed us to put it in our Algonac community. Because there was one up at Family Dollar in Fairhaven, but Algonac is our prime example. And I also hear that it's been full twice, and it's awesome. I really like that. It's only been up for weeks, like maybe 3 weeks, which is cool.
We dropped some stuff off.
You did?
Yep.
Oh, I know. You can go up to St. Clair and drop it off. They're pretty nice. They're all nice, actually. Jane and all of them. And I'd like to thank the Lions Club and the school board for being supportive of our group. We really, really appreciate it.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Isabel Wallace. I am the secretary of the Care Bag movement, and I just want to thank you for letting us present here again. This is important to me because it really opened my eyes to what was actually going on within our community of St. Clair. I had no idea about any of this until we made our visit to Kids in Distress, and we really saw what these kids went through, and we actually got to go to the Department of Health and Human Services and see what room they were in and where they were placed after they were taken from their homes. So we also saw the care bags they got and how they had it set up. It was a really eye-opening experience to me, and it just made me want to get more involved. We would like to become a club at the school here. We think it will expand our group, and it is a great leadership opportunity for everyone. It'll also train us to become leaders. I feel like I can lead much more now since I have become into this group. So I think it will just really help some kids out if we expand our group into the school. Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
So that was my board, and I would just like to thank you urgently so much for the opportunity for us to speak in front of you guys, because at the end of the day, while I do believe so much in this project that what we're doing in order to help out these children as much as we can, overall, the main reason why I feel so attached to this is because I feel like we're offering something that no one else truly is. I am also part of the National Honor Society, SAD, and Student Council, and while I do love those groups, it's just, you don't really feel attached. Like, it just seems like another one of those things sometimes where you just go there, you do your hours, you go to the meetings, and then you're done. But here, you truly feel like you're making a change. You see the impact, you see what you're doing, and it really tests you and helps you to grow. That's why I've gotten the most out of this. I've grown more than I think I've gotten from anything else that we've done for these kids. I honestly feel like this will truly help out the student body. I've became more responsible. I have become more, I've learned how to work with others better. I've gained a new sense of self-worth. Overall, when people come together and try to work for a cause like this in order to make a difference for the better, there's no room for any negativity, purely joy, and I believe that's something that we need more of in this community. So again, thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you.
You know, and just to, you know, piggyback on this a little bit, that you can see where this is, you know, they have the one day, April 12th, and that is a, like I said, truly amazing day to get over there, but this is not a, you know, and you could hear from the amount of time that these people put in and the effort that they do, it's not a one day commitment on their part, it's a year-round thing, and I've had conversations with Calvin and Noah along the way a little bit, and you know, I know the time that they put in, and this is, it's truly an undertaking, but I think Noah hit it right on the head. This is something that is unique to us. This is something that they do on their own. This is something that's great for the community, and it's something that you won't see students in other areas taking on a project like this, and it truly is a credit to all you people that put so much time in. Anything, and I've had the conversations before, anything the school can do to support and help out, you absolutely know that we're there for it, and I appreciate everything you do, and thank you for presenting tonight. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bill, I have a question
Sure.
for you, though. How and what would it entail for this organization to become a club here at Algonac?
Well, I think they kind of are almost already there, but you know, there's some things that we could do to partner with them a little bit more. And, you know, I mean, them coming and presenting to the board, and they do every year anyway, but, you know, there's some things that we could do to kind of make it a little more official, so to speak. But I've kind of considered them a club anyway, but we certainly would
But
be
they
willing
could
to
come
take that
and
on.
stop in and talk
You
with
bet.
you to see what else they could do or whatever.
You bet. Yep.
Okay.
I do apologize. Yeah, if there's any questions any of you have for our group, feel free to ask. I didn't meant to say that. But and regarding to starting up the club, everything's almost ready. We just have to get a couple of details ready, but everything's almost set in place.
Perfect.
So we're doing good.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, also, can we get a picture before we move on?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
My apologies.
I don't know if you guys want, I don't know, maybe we'll go around the front here.
Sorry.
Hang on, Jan and Sue are getting.
And Jeff Smith, Coach Smith has graciously said he would be a sponsor for their club. So that is so good to have him aboard, and he's going to support and encourage these kids, so we're gonna
Come on.
take it.
Come on, Sue.
We got one of their Shayla's, just,
Thank you. A little nervous.
And please help yourselves to some cookies, if you'd like cookies. You're welcome to stay, but you're welcome to leave too if you need to go. Yeah. Awesome job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cal. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, good job.
Thanks, Tiff. Nice job.
Awesome
Thank you,
work.
sir.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you very
Nice
much,
job
sir.
with the presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right, consent agenda items.
I make a motion that the Board of Education approves all consent agenda items, including agenda, minutes, personnel items, and treasurer's report, and bills as listed in items A through C.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, that passes. All right, information items. Administrative reports.
Mr. Melrose from the high school.
Yep, it's hard to believe it's that time, but we, as of today, I let the students know we have our top 10 for graduation. And again, just a reminder for our top 10, it's composed of 3 different parts. It's composed of their GPA, points for taking honors classes, as well as their SAT scores. And so that formula, our top 10 was, again, this is alphabetical order, Noah Brezhnek, George Even, Noah Gertman, Benjamin Kemp, Lucy Colossian, Mark Langwitz, Gina Moss, Sasha Nash, Annabelle Schweiger, and Taylor Smith. Those are, that's our list there. And then from that list there, we do have our students that are going to be doing their speeches at graduation, and they formally submit those, and we go through there. But we've already started that process, and so we're kind of there. But congratulations to those young men and women for an excellent job as always. One of the things coming up here, April 3rd, when we come back after break, it's a Wednesday. I was approached by Blue Water Building Trades. They do career fairs at various schools. They contacted us, so we responded that, yeah, we'd like them to come in. And so on April 3rd from 8 in the morning to 12 p.m., there will be, they'll be here at the high school in the gymnasium, and it is, it's more of a manufacturing type of career fair. And we've already talked to a lot of our tech students who generally in the morning they have tech, but they've been excused. I've already talked with Fran up in tech, and they said that they would excuse them for being there. But they'll have quite a bit of different people here. There'll be plumbers, the teamsters, sheet metal workers, carpenters, iron workers. So they have a bunch of different trades that will be here in the high school, and so any of the students there that are interested in seeing what's out there, they'll have that opportunity. So again, that's April 3rd. Another opportunity that was provided for us, I had a representative from Huntington National Bank that wanted to come in and offer some support in personal finances. That they wanted to really target our juniors and seniors before they graduate, just kind of making sure that they know, again, it's a lot of us, you know, when we get older, we're used to it, but checking account, personal finance, setting up insurance, all of that a lot of them don't have the skills or the experience. And so working with them, they're going to be coming in our life math class, which is geared toward our seniors and our juniors, and they'll be coming in after break again. It'll be about once a week coming in. They're going to be bringing in different bank managers, and every time they come in, they'll be covering different subject matters. So again, and they even talked about, in the end, when they're done with the program, also discussing some possible job opportunities in the banking industry for those students. So we have that, providing that. Right now, we have a book fair going on for the high school and junior high. It's in 119 over here. It's open from 7:30 to 2:30 every day for the remainder of this week. And then just lastly, right now, is we're just in high gear preparing for the state testing year. It'll be coming up again 2 weeks after we get back from break. And I can tell you that in doing my observations, our teachers are working hard to get the students prepared, using a lot of the Khan Academy stuff for our English and math, but in all the classrooms, science, social studies, a lot of these classes, they're hitting it hard, and I think they're doing a good job getting our students prepared.
Ryan, on the career fair, is that just for our students here at the high
Well,
school.
I didn't say we would want to come in, like I said, all we would ask is that they come and check in at the office. but,
Right.
I mean,
I'm just thinking about some of our people that graduated within the last couple of years of, maybe coming back through and, having an opportunity to circle
we
back.
have no problem with that.
Great,
Good point.
great. Thank you.
Yep.
Mrs. Lestage.
So right now, Melissa and I are in the thick of reading month. We have a small activity every day or wear a shirt with words or writing today just to keep them interested. It's nice because we were able to find a book that we could share and we're doing read-alouds in all the classrooms. Kids are pretty excited about it. At Algonquin, we'll do a comprehension question a few times a week and then we draw it for a small prize. So they're kind of excited about that, and the book actually is based around a special needs student, so it's, kind of nice. Hopefully we're building some empathy with that. We also had book fair last week, another successful book fair. Several thousands of dollars of books are now out in the community, so that's always a great event that the PTO puts on. This past weekend, we also had mother-son dodgeball. Very competitive again this year. They were excited, saw some new shirt designs, and they always have just a really fun time. We probably had over 300 parents and students this year. And tomorrow, actually, hopefully the secret hasn't been out yet, but I think it's safe to say that Jeff Lutz isn't going to hear about this. He'll be deployed right after spring break. So Algonquin students have come up with a patriotic send-off for him tomorrow. And they have self-created it and kind of added in a few things here and there. So they'll be singing a song. The sixth graders will be singing the national anthem. A group of Boy Scouts rallied their leader in to do a flag raising. And we're really hoping it's still a surprise. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow when he comes in. And also, I am currently on a website committee with Ray, and Karen Roshan is helping us, guide us through it. And probably 2 weeks ago, we had a meeting, and I was very impressed with the templates they showed us and the questions they asked. And they're going to be putting up a mock website for us, and I think it will really kind of bring us into the next generation coming up this next school year. So that's kind of exciting to be seeing that change come along.
Thanks.
Thank you. Mrs. Hanners.
At Millside, it's been a busy month in March as well. So we did, about 2 weekends ago, we had it was daddy-daughter dance. Janice had that, and it was a really fun event. They did a circus theme this year, and lots of feedback. A ton of dads and daughters, and it's always great to see. Everybody's dressed up and looks so nice, and girls dragging their dads around. Dads sure do give in to their girls.
They do anything for them.
They sure do. So it was a fun night to be had. Lots of smiles, lots of dancing. So it was great. If you've never been to an Almanac Daddy-Daughter dance, there's a good, I would say 500-600 people out that night. It's a big event. So thanks to Algonquin for housing it every year. Millside recently had a teacher recognized for Distinguished Teacher Award for the month. That was Jennifer Humes, our early childhood special education teacher. She teaches 3-year-olds to 6-year-olds, depending on where they're at, special needs. If you've never seen Jennifer teach, it's a sight to behold. She's wonderful. She never stops moving. She has a little toolkit belt on, giving everybody what they need, but she is fabulous. Larissa came down and observed our program to give us some feedback, and they had glowing things to say and sent down the Distinguished Teacher Award. So it was really great. So if you see Jennifer, she doesn't like all the recognition. Give it to her anyway. She's very great. There is an interview with her on the EBTV that Terry Harrington came down to do in a short video as well. So hopefully you've seen that. We had at Millside a family reading night last week, and we did where the kids came out and we had some crafts. We have an author study of Mo Willems this month, so we read some Mo Willems book. We also had Cat in the Hat show up in Clifford to do some reading to the kids. Our book fair was open, and then of course we gave away books at their level for them to take home. It was a fun event to attend. So lots of kids, lots of folks going home. We have the end of the third marking period coming up here in April 5th. So we have our third benchmark testing in kindergarten and first grade, making sure that they're making progress in their reading levels for the end of the year. So lots of information going home for parents at this point in time on how their students are doing in reading and changing of plans and trying to make sure everybody's getting what they need. There's a flyer coming around. We, through Title I, have to do a district improvement plan meeting every year, and we need the input of all of our stakeholders. This meeting is really to address our needs academically. Sometimes we can look at other things besides academics, but Title I is truly to service the four core areas of reading, language arts, math, science, and social studies. So I wanted to make sure you were aware. We'd love to have a board member come out that night. April 11th, from 6 to 7 here in the high school library. I put a mock agenda down there. We'll need parents, we'll need some staff, a couple board members, and students to give their feedback, to kind of look at where we are, to identify our areas of strengths and things that are going well, to make sure that we keep those going well, and then to identify areas of improvement and kind of prioritize those. So we're going to be looking at some data and then getting some feedback, so to make sure that our district improvement plan matches our school goals and improvement plans, so it's all aligned. So if you're able to join us, please do. Should be an interesting.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Susan?
Okay, so kind of along the same lines as Millside, we've had some readers come in. I know the classrooms have readers. We've had readers. We've had a nurse come in. We had a state trooper today that came in. Chase from Paw Patrol is coming tomorrow, following our field trip to the library. So he's going to meet them as they get off the bus tomorrow. He'll be there to read them a story, so none of them know that's happening, so I'm super excited about that. We're going to start a nutrition class starting the beginning of April from the MSU Extension. Jennifer, Jennifer's going to be coming down, and she's going to do 6 weeks of nutrition classes with our preschoolers. They're going to do a lesson, and then they get to do like a taste testing or a recipe with her, so kids are going to be really excited about that. We have our St. Jude's Triathlon that starts April 11, and so the kids can get donations towards their day of, and then they get to bring their trike or their bike, their helmet, and we make up like a little town for them, hopefully outside. And they're requesting a McDonald's, so the teachers are hard at work at making a McDonald's right now. And then we have our registration and kite day as well as our mom-to-mom sale coming up April 27th. It's a Saturday, so that's when we kick off our summer registration, and we do a little community event that we have quite a few vendors coming out. We have Growing Smiles coming. I have a chiropractor coming. I hope to get a couple more, as well as having a mom-to-mom sale so that people in the community can really kind of recycle their stuff. So, and yeah, that's it. That's what I got going.
Thank
Cool.
you, Susan.
Thank you. Board reports?
I
Ray
have
Hanson.
one. If no one noticed over the weekend, Mr. Jarris passed away, who was an assistant principal for me at Gilbert Junior High. I have very fond memories of Mr. Jarris. I never saw that man not have a smile on his face. He always greeted you in the hallway. If he saw you with a frown on his face, he always took you to the side, see what the problem was, see if there was anything he could do for you. I just wanted to mention it just in case people didn't see it on Facebook. But he meant a lot to a lot of people, and he did a lot in this school. And, you know, as the current administrators, you guys walk around every day. Just remember, you know, those kids that don't have anybody to look up to might be looking up at you that day. So always have that smile on your face, because that's what I remember. So that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, one thing I'll share different topic as over the weekend. We had a pretty successful robotics competition. That was pretty exciting for the first time. We won a judge's award, which was pretty noteworthy. And then we were Alliance captains for the first time and did pretty well going in kind of rough. So team's pretty fired up. One more competition. I think Ryan, I heard Cortland was going around looking for a case new trophy display real estate. I got a text this morning. He says, "Dad, case is coming." Like what case?
That's great.
All right, that's all.
Very good, thank you.
I have one too, actually, for the band, for the 8th graders had their first festival this past month, and they did really well. They got, overall, they got 2s. One's the best you can get, they got 2s, and they got a 1 in sight reading. And if you guys don't know what sight reading is, they have to go in a room, and they're given sheet music, and they're only given a certain amount of time to figure out their plan. And then they just kind of hum it out after that, and then they have to hit it, and they have to nail it, and they did. So they did really well. And then high school was at Anchor Bay, and they got all 1s, which is fantastic too, because they worked really, really hard. So they deserve a shout out too.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, Mr. Latos?
Yep. A couple things for you tonight. I've started to put together some of the information to get the word out about the non-homestead millage that's coming up. Obviously, the plan is to get the information out, but not too early where people forget about it before Election Day. So the plan will be this. I have, I will hit this through a community update. I also have a trifold that will be going out as well. This is a list of frequently asked questions, and I just kind of derived this from what people, if people call the office or stop by, these are usually the questions that we kind of get asked to us, so hopefully this kind of clears up just what a non-homestead election is. People always kind of know that it's on there every couple of years, but they sometimes forget exactly what it does or why we have to do it. So hopefully this, and this will be linked on the website, also will be on the Algonac Facebook page as well, someplace to refer people to, just letting them know that it is not a tax or not anything that'll affect a primary homeowner. It's for businesses and second homes. We do this every couple of years. This is the first time, as you recall in our conversation, that we're going to go out for hopefully a 4-year period. And again, that's just in the effort to save on costly campaign costs and election costs. You know, every time we do an election, it ends up, you know, costing the district $10,000 in that range. And so this will be nice if we could get this through and have 4 years and not have to revisit it, and that's money we can spend on other things. So this is out right now. We're in the process of putting, like I said, again, putting together a trifold that will go out. We'll send those home with kids. We'll have them in the offices. We'll have them in the county offices as well, where people can get them. And it's just covers a lot of the same that's on the frequently asked questions stuff, but it also just kind of gives people an indication of what it is that they'll be asked to vote on.
Al, I have a suggestion.
Sure.
You don't have to take it, but you have the rationale listed on here, why we don't do it, or why we're switching to a 4-year, and
Right.
it's because of saving costs.
Yep.
I think you should highlight it or put it in bigger letters.
Yep.
Because sometimes people gloss over, they don't read the whole thing, and that one, to me, would be really important for them to know.
Billboard might be an option.
A billboard size
sure.
would not be bad, right?
Oh, that helps. Thank you. I will do that. Just gonna pay.
Have you gotten any questions coming in? or-
I haven't got
or
anything
something?
yet. Usually what I'll get is, people, like I said, they're familiar with the term and they just kind of sometimes forget. So I usually get them closer to Election Day where they say, this is that thing that was up 2 years ago, right? And, you know, you just kind of, walk them through it a little bit. And but nothing yet. Haven't heard anything yet. So if you pass those around. I talked a little bit about April is the month in Michigan where teacher job fairs take place at all of the different universities, and so The week of April 8th is there's 5 of them that week, and between Melissa and I will be splitting those up. Brooke and Ryan will be busy with testing in the schools. So Central Michigan's that week, Michigan State, U of M, Eastern, and Western, all on different days, thankfully. I think they plan it that way. And so this is just something, this is going to be done on the nicer paper there when we, in fact, I think they're going to be done maybe this week. Yeah. But anyway, this is just going to be something that, if you think of the setup, when you go to a job fair, it's basically table after table of schools from all over the state and sometime out of the state. And so what we'll have this year is we're going to have a laptop set up with a running slideshow, and then we'll also have this pamphlet to kind of give to people, just kind of, and then we'll have in the back kind of a poster board with the Algonac muskrat head and our logo and that kind of thing. And it's just something to, anymore it's a competitive thing, and we want to highlight who we are a little bit and sell a little bit about who we are and what we do. I don't know at this point, there was a point in time when we used to go to these job fairs and it was we knew we had specific openings. Well, with the way things had been in the past 10 years, we haven't visited any job fairs. It's been a long time since we've been there because the need wasn't there. Well, now we know that we need to start, again, building a stock of resumes and trying to make sure that we have people, even though I don't know exactly what jobs will be available, we're going to kind of take resumes for all of them. And so that way, as jobs do come up, we'll have that kind of reserve of resume. So I think it's a good idea that we get out there again and make sure that we're kind of tapping into that talent pool and let them know why they want to be a muskrat and come out and work with us. By the way, special thanks to Jana and Crystal for putting that pamphlet together. They did a nice job with that, and like I said, it'll look real good when it comes back, the finished version of it. They kind of do they sharpen up the pictures a little bit, and it looks kind of cool. So I'll make sure to show you those as well. Yeah. Evan and I, next week, it's actually on our spring break, have a day set up where the roofers are coming out. We are going to put together our summer schedule, and make sure that, because it's tight, they tell us it's every bit of a 2-month project, and that's if things go well, and meaning weather-wise and things like that. So obviously our goal is to get things started right away. For us, it's even more of an idea of what kind of access we're going to have to be in the school, and people still want to get in here in the summer and use the school for different things, or use the fields, or use the gyms. And so part of our deal is we want to sit down with them and make sure we have some kind of a schedule where we can plan it out. And
is it just this building right now?
Yes, yep, it's going to be just this. We do have a couple little things out there that we've talked about, possibly when the roofers are here, starting to maybe possibly get a price on, and that is out at the field. If you've seen our concession stand roof, it's not in real good shape, and also we have the track shed back there that's got a big old hole in it right now. So we might talk to them about that, but yeah, it'll be probably just on this campus right now, and that'll pretty much take care of our first year of sinking fund dollars, because it's pretty expensive. So, but I'll keep you posted on how that meeting goes. Janet came by and gave you 2 sections, homework, yes. So I sent you the date and time for our board workshop, and that'll be the first. And if you remember when Wayne was here talking, he said, 2 sections is aggressive, but sometimes doable depending on the sections. Now, the 2 sections he gave us to start with, these are basically, he just says this is a good jump off point. He knows probably better than I do about the ones that take, the most time. Now, if you look in here, and he even explained this a little bit, but when you'll go through some of this stuff, in fact, a good portion of it is the non-negotiables, so to speak. So they're law, they're in there, they're written by lawyers. Those are things that you can't change. But there's a lot of them along the way. And anytime you see any kind of a parenthesis that means those are options of, do we want that as part of our policy? So when you're going through, and obviously, I would, I asked him, how does this look? He said, well, it's good if everybody goes through and kind of gets an idea of what we're talking about, what things they would like to see that are listed. In other words, like, so they'll have, for example, if you look on there, they have, they'll give like a list of people that would be responsible for this. So they'll say Board of Education, Superintendent, Administrative Staff, and you go down and check which ones you think would be good to have. Maybe it's just something that the board would be responsible for, maybe it's just something that I would be responsible for. And then when we come that night, the idea would be, we'll go through policy by policy and we'll say, okay, what did you think for this? What made sense to you? And we'll kind of just grind it out. And it's a long process, but at the same point, we knew this was coming and that we gotta get up to speed on this. So we'll certainly get through as much as we can. And like Wayne said, it could be up to a 6-month process. Could be 4 or 5 meetings, could be 6, 7 meetings. It all depends on how much we get through. But certainly coming, prepared and having at least looked at this would probably help us get through that night a little bit quicker.
When is that first session
It
again?
is, I think it's the 23rd of April, is that correct?
Okay.
Yep, Tuesday night. Yeah, I'll resend that date out to you, but I think that's what it was, if
Okay.
I'm thinking, I don't have my calendar
Did we
with
pick
me.
a time?
6 o'clock is when we went with, yep. And he seemed to think that we would probably go about 3 hours that night, 6 to 9, and see what we could get done. He said after 3 hours, people kind of tend to lose their, lose their excitement to be here, so we'll probably stick to that, see how we go. The other thing, I talked with Lisa Liberto about calendar for next year and getting one put in place for parents so they kind of know what's what the school year is going to look like. We will be starting after Labor Day, as we have for the last, I know that there's some districts that have started to transition starting before Labor Day. At this point, most of our county is still starting after Labor Day. With the renovations that we're having to the high school, I'm thinking that maybe it would be wise to have that extra time this year, because you just never know how that's gonna go. And so at this point, we'll be, our school year will look an awful lot like it did this year. Some of the breaks are common throughout the county, so we don't really have a lot of say in where we move those, spring break and Christmas break. So realistically, we're kind of locked in. A lot of it just has to do with when we want to do our professional development days and how we want to schedule those in. So hope to have that out, set in stone here within the next, by the time hopefully we see you again in April, we'll have that locked away. And then also with that, negotiations for the teachers union, for the secretaries and para union, and then for the custodians, we'll be starting that probably sometime next month. What we're trying to do is get a little bit of a narrow down what we're looking at in terms of where we sit financially, and we're going to try to fine tune. It's always a little bit of a crapshoot because the governor, the budget doesn't really get locked in until October, so we kind of play a little bit with what we think's going to happen, but again, with the idea that we need to be careful and make sure that we're keeping ourselves conservative and at the same point being fair to our teachers. So, and lastly, I had sent the email out to you. Mitch Landrum was asking about, apparently the boosters, the board's always done something for the sports boosters in terms of sponsoring a basket for raffle. I don't know who organized that, or if
I don't know, it wasn't the board organizing, we donated.
okay.
But I don't know who made the basket or anything like that.
Did
Well, I
Andy do
will
it?
volunteer.
Did Andy do it, maybe?
No, board did
Okay.
not do it. It was, we just gave them the money.
Okay, well, if you are so inclined and would like to donate, maybe we'll shoot for $20 a person. I'll be more than happy to figure out how that'll work. Meaning Crystal and Jan will be more than happy to figure out how that looks. But
That's what we did before, it was $20 a person.
okay, is that what it was, $20 a person?
$20 a person.
So if you would like to, sometime this week, if you have it tonight, that's great, or if you'd like to drop it off, this week in the office, if you're interested in doing that, and we'll put something together so we have a basket to help out the sports boosters.
Awesome.
Ryan, what's that date again on boosters, do you know, dinner?
13th.
13th, okay, yep. Mitch Landrum has tickets to that too, if you're interested in going, he's sent out an email. I don't know if it quite reached you guys, but that'll be out there too. That's, the sports boosters, that's their big event for the year, so, yep, that'll be out there, it's a good night, so. And I think that's all I have.
And any word on snow day forgiveness?
It went through the House and it passed through that. Now it's going on to, we got our 3-day waiver. So that put us at 9 out of the 10 we're okay with. It's that extra one. It went through the House. It goes to the next, committee, which is something, I don't know the name of it, but it moves on to that. They're hoping by end of March, they get that information out to the districts if it's gonna be forgiven or not. I was hoping that we would know something this week, because if we are looking at Easter Monday, I'd like to give parents a month at least to let them know that that's gonna happen. So what we might do is make that call anyway, and use it as a tentative. So in other words, if we don't get the forgiveness, we're gonna be going on Easter Monday. And then, of course, if they come through and they give us that break, then we'll just forget about that as
House
well.
Ways and Means Committee, that's where.
That's right. So, I think that's it. Anything else? Oh, yep.
After discussing with Al, I'm exploring the opportunity with Mr. Imerino at Troon to open a line of credit at Chemical Bank instead of going out for a state aid note. This year we spent $22,000 in interest costs, so if I draw and only need it for a 2-week period, I think we can save a considerable amount of money. However, this has to go to Treasury, okay? You just can't go out there, even though Chemical was the only bidder on our notes, or they were awarded our note for the last 3 years. We're exploring that possible opportunity to save a lot of money. So I'll keep you posted as we go along. We're in the cash flow, we're doing cash flows right now, and then we're gonna send it out and see where this goes.
And that was why the importance of the Moody's
Right,
rating
yeah.
was so important. I mean, we wouldn't have, there's no way we would have been even considered for that cut for the last few years, but now with the favorable rating, hopefully that'll help us and get us through and save us some bucks that we could be spending in classrooms.
Especially when we only need it for a couple weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even, it will be considerably less
Yeah.
if we are allowed to do that.
On that point, does the state understand that everybody's in the same boat with student enrollment? Because it seemed like they were slamming us for our credit rating because we were losing students. Well, show me one school that gains students.
Wow.
There's a few out there.
Very few, yeah. I just, it was funny that I almost sent you an article too. Actually, I should send it to you. That was Dorothy sent along about the birth rates. So this is actually this year, again, an all-time low in Michigan, and it's just been consistent. So there's just not as many kids here, and that's why, when you get back to, they talk about how grossly underfunded the schools are, and how at one point back in 1994 with Proposal A, and that was when it was a per pupil funding, and there was a lot of pupils to fund, and that's just not the case. So it's led to everybody kind of, again, losing money for the districts, and so that's part of the reason we're in the predicament we're in. But yeah, you're right.
And I read the grading report and I'm going, really? Don't they understand that, everybody's in the same boat?
Yeah, you would think. That's all I have.
All right.
Yep.
Visitors and requests?
None.
None? Action items? None as well. With that, I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Support.
All right, moved and supported. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, that's a wrap. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.